Hello, loves. Welcome to the Live Your Freedom Now podcast. I'm Megan Colleen Johnson, and this podcast is dedicated to discussing dominant cultural narratives and beliefs, what I call dominant dogma, how this keeps you from thriving in life and business, and how to overcome that dogma by living your freedom now. While this path sounds clean and straightforward, the truth is life and being human is messy. So around here, we value the both and. We'll hold space for where you're at and honor the freedom you'd like to see and feel within yourself. Hit subscribe to stay updated, and for more information about me, my work, and to download my free Freedom Manifesto with all the details on what Dominant Dogma is, head to megscolleen.com. If you're curious to have the dominant dogma in your life talked about on the podcast, shoot me a text at 312-815-2774 and fill me in. Episode 13. Just say yes. Hello, creative humans. Today I am writing to you from my bed. Like other days, when I've written from bed, today I face a teasing migraine, so I am tending to myself as I complete a few important work tasks before taking the afternoon off to rest. I have a warm wrap supporting my neck, a white blanket covering me, and the blinds are mostly closed, so there is just a sliver of light peeking in, which, from my perspective, appears tinted orange with my dark blue light glasses on. I can hear the wind blowing a bit wildly outside and a few spring birds braving the gusts. Additionally, I do have a cold as I'm recording this, so you may hear that little bit of nasally sound in my voice today. As I notice my surroundings, I encourage you to do the same. Notice where you are, the textures around you, the colors, and the sounds. Simply notice what is present for you, not judging or labeling any sensation or object as good or bad. Simply noticing, witnessing, and allowing all parts of yourself to the table. This is a practice of freedom that no one can ever take away. Today, our focus is discussing the dominant dogma in business and the workplace that encourages folks to just say yes. The narrative of saying yes to every opportunity, every ask, and every task is common in our modern socialization, especially for humans socialized as girls. However, consistently saying yes can result in misaligned agreements and burnout over time. While burnout is pretty self-explanatory, what do I actually mean by misaligned agreements? Whether running a business or working for someone else, there are many agreements at play in the workplace. Agreements between buyer and seller, between employers and employees, between managers and those being managed, among others. These agreements are often hinged on an exchange of money for a product, a service, or time. When we are socialized to just say yes, it's incredibly easy to find an agreed-upon exchange shifted without true consent. Perhaps a client scope creeps, and you find yourself doing far more than initially determined. Or you find yourself bearing the weight of someone else's position at work without receiving a title change or a pay increase. To avoid conflict and perhaps losing your client or your job, you simply say yes. You go with the flow and hope an opportunity presents itself where you can shift things in the future. This is a misaligned agreement. And sadly, in a just say yes culture, many people live with this tension daily. However, there are ways out. New boundaries can be set. New positions can be found. And clarity in the agreements you establish can result in deeper respect and higher pay. To share a specific example of this dominant dogma and one pathway to deeper freedom, I'm going to read my client Emily's story for you today. Emily came to me feeling overwhelmed, recovering from spiritual abuse, and navigating a work situation that required self-extraction on the regular. She was given more work within her workplace and no advancement, and she felt the pressure to just say yes, no questions or pushback allowed. She knew this lifestyle was unsustainable, and for the sake of her mental, physical, and emotional well-being, she was ready to break through her fear and launch her small business. The external dominant dogma she heard: just say yes. Keep pushing. Keep working. The internalized dominant dogma she heard: this is my only option. If I venture out on my own, I will fail. I need to keep my head down and do the work. Despite the fear and the internal and external dominant dogma she was facing, Emily reached out for help and began co-creating a new path for her future. She established holistic goals to support her thriving in life and in business. Then together, we navigated the bumps along the way. Specifically, within a month of our time coaching together and within a few weeks of launching her business, COVID-19 resulted in job cuts at her work, and she found herself a full-time entrepreneur. Because of her bravery to pursue a more aligned life, this unexpected job cut became a blessing instead of a curse. Despite a global pandemic, she was prepared with freelance work, an online shop, and new business partnerships. As Emily picked up her innate freedom of choice, she broke down the dominant dogma, internal and external, holding her back. She began giving herself permission to thrive instead of waiting for someone to give it to her. She realigned her inner and outer worlds through a business that lit her up. She crafted aligned agreements that facilitated her creative fulfillment and allowed deeper support for her well-being. Through powerful coaching sessions, bravery, and a willingness to see the world differently, Emily reclaimed her ability to say no and say potent yeses, including a hell yes for her future. The dominant dogma of just say yes can be seen in many places outside of the workplace. But for today, I want to leave you with an encouragement to notice: where have you been socialized to say yes in your business and in your workplace when perhaps your agreements between yourself and others deserve a more in-depth conversation? Reciprocal relationships in business are as important as reciprocal relationships in life. So I encourage you to evaluate your agreements. Are they supportive? Do they light up your spirit? Do they feel like the agreements you want to be in to further your future? And that is what I want to leave you with today. Your yeses get to be yours. Don't forget that. As a quick reminder, there are only a few more weeks to apply for my Creative Business Accelerator. Enrollment closes on May 31st, and we begin on June 1st. The topics we've been discussing on the podcast for the past month provide a window into the dominant dogma that this program helps you unhook from, so you can invite freedom back into your business. A powerful mix of practical strategy and mindset, this accelerator is for you if you are ready to hand back the shoulds and the musts that have seized control of your business, to reclaim your vision and run your business on your terms. You started your business to thrive, to experience more fulfillment, and to live free. I'm here to help you do that. Head to megscolleen.com, that's megscolleen.com, to learn more and reserve your spot today. Please note that I accept a maximum of 9 humans per intake, and spaces are filled on a first-come, first-served basis. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. All right, I'll see you next week. Freedom is yours. Thank you for joining me for another Live Your Freedom Now podcast episode. If you enjoyed this episode, I'm always so grateful for a 5-star rating, and you can learn more about me, my currently enrolling Creative Business Accelerator, and download my free Integral Sales and Marketing Masterclass at megscolleen.com. Curious to have the Dominant Dogma in your life talked about on the podcast? Shoot me a text at 312-815-2774 and fill me in. I'll see you next time, and as always, freedom is yours.